We're live, we're live, we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Goodness. Hope you guys are having a good start to your week so far. I almost said it. It's been busy here. We'll talk about that. We shall talk about that. We're going to be talking exactly about that, actually. The busy trap. So shame on me for saying that. See if we can get some people on. Got a fun song that I learned for you today about being busy and resting in the Lord. So this is a really, I'm really passionate about this topic. It's means a lot to me because I've definitely found myself in this busy trap. So hi! Oh yay! Hello, Julia. Welcome to this show now. We're talking about being busy. I don't know how much you caught over on Instagram. I do an Instagram before this one on Tuesday nights. 7 there, 7:30 roughly here. A little bit late, but we had a good discussion going over there. So, awesome. Bringing out the book. I know I have shared this with you all the last few weeks, but I am getting so stinking excited for this. This is the Wellness Revelation, and I will be able to start leading these in just a few short weeks, and I cannot wait. I'll be headed out to Arizona for a retreat, and I'll get my certification there, and then I get to start leading these in classes. The last bit to come check. Yay! I'm so glad you did. I'm so glad you came and checked the first bit out. But anyways, this is the Wellness Revelation. Oh my goodness. Hi! Welcome. Dr. B is on. Okay, so this is the Wellness Revelation, and it is, well, the front of it says, lose what weighs you down so you can love God, yourself, and others. And it is so much more than just physical weight. This is like spiritual weight and what weighs us down in our spirit and our soul, and the rest falls into place, and that's what this is all about. So we can love God and love ourselves and others well. So this is a 8 to 9 week journey, and I think I'm going to do it online first. So if you guys are interested or know somebody interested in joining, I'm going to start this as soon as I can and as soon as we have people. And I'm going to do an online group first, because I know that a lot of the people that follow me here are from back home in Nebraska, and so I think I'm going to start it online first. So if you're interested or know somebody interested, let me know, because it's a really cool thing. You guys can go check it out too. This book is called The Wellness Revelation, and the program or the certification that I'm going through is Revelation Wellness. It's so fun, so much good stuff. Hi, Kristen. You're going to win the award of like most views, consecutive views, Kristen, because you've been on pretty much every time now. So thanks for visiting. I hope you're doing well. Cool. So with that, let's jump into our crowd music artist. Okay, so crowd music, I know I tell you every time, but it's such a cool thing. It's a platform that's set up to promote artists and allow the listeners to promote artists that they love and actually benefit from it. So if you are a listener and you love a song, like I love this song today, I'm going to show you, you can do this exact thing, build a crowd underneath of you and actually benefit from it financially, but also I'm a firm believer of when you promote others, you will be promoted. And so that's why I love this model as a musician, but also just as someone who loves music, a listener of music, and very passionate about it. It's a wonderful company with great owners doing an awesome thing for the music industry. So can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you either, Julia. It's coming so fast. I can't wait. Yes, and then I will share with you all how our retreat in Arizona goes, because it's gonna be fun. So anyways, that's what crowd music is about. And so I'm gonna share with you, promote a band called Wakeville. And I can totally hear this song like in a movie or something, but I'm going to read a little bit of their bio here. So it says here, imagine if Coldplay's, they're a modern rock band. It says, and imagine if Coldplay's energetic edge and skillful songwriting collided with the heart and honesty of Switchfoot. Well, that's what happened here. So the Nashville-based band leaves behind a trail of meaningful and life-changing experiences, cutting through the masks and shields that so many people hide behind. With their honest and heartfelt songs, Wakeville uses their music as a platform to positively impact their listeners on and off stage. I absolutely love that. I mean, isn't that what it's all about, is using our platform, whatever it may be, to positively impact people. And so that's what I just love about them, but that's not it, because you're going to hear here, this song is awesome. It's called Only One, and this is Wakeville.
You know when it feels like the summertime, yeah. The only one. Remember when the thunder came and we were caught out in the rain. Oh, we danced under the broken sky. What fire in the night? What fire in the night? What fire burning wild? Got lost in the gravity, take the breath out of me. Got me strong but I'm on my knees, yeah. The only, free like a Friday.
Isn't that a fun song? It's just a feel-good song. So good. That is Wakeville and their song Only One on Crowd Music. You guys can learn more about it at crowdmusic.com/AlexaKriss. You can read all about how to get involved there. You guys can just ask me too if you want. I like to talk about it. So that's Crowd Music, Wakeville. Exclusive song there, Only One. You can find that song actually there and download it too if you want. You should actually. It's a good song. So let's dive in here. So we've been going through Nehemiah because that's what I've been doing with Revwell. And so I thought it only made sense to just share what I'm learning through it. So last week we were talking about the diverse topic of poverty and what I learned in training about that. This week, in chapter 6, yet again we see some more opposition from the enemy, and basically it's just relentless bullying. And so a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about opposition, I was discussing about identifying tactics used by the enemy, and how it's sometimes pretty obvious when it's external opposition, not so much internal. And so we know that the enemy's not creative at all, actually. And so when we can identify them, external and just the tactics that he's using, then we can identify the opposition when it's internal and it's a little less obvious. And then what we're supposed to do with that once we're aware of it and once we recognize it's there. We talked about anger, mocking and ridicule, name calling, degrading, belittling, questioning, and doubt, I think was the last one there. But it's all rooted in fear. It's all rooted in fear. And so this week, in the training, we were talking about more opposition. But one thing that really, really stood out to me was, in kind of a roundabout way, I guess, was sort of this idea of being busy, and how that can actually become two things that we'll talk about. One, it actually becomes a distraction, and it can be part of the lies and accusations that the enemy uses. So I'm just going to jump into Nehemiah 6 here and read 1 through 9, and then we can talk a little bit about it. And this is, I believe, the Voice translation. So here it is. Once again, we found that Once again, we found that our progress had been reported to our enemies, Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem the Arab, as well as the rest of our adversaries. They heard that under my leadership the wall had been rebuilt. Not one gap remained, though the doors still had to be hung on the gates. Sanballat and Geshem sent messengers to me. And the messengers said, "Come and meet with us in the plain of Ono at the border village of Sheraphim." They were planning to hurt me. So, instead, I sent messengers back to them. I said, "I am in the middle of a great work and can't be interrupted. I'm not coming down to meet with you. What is so important that I should suspend this great work we are doing to travel and see you?" This same exchange played out four different times. They asked for a meeting and I refused. The fifth time, I was approached by a servant of Sanballat. He came with the same message, but this time he also carried an unsealed letter in his hand. That letter said, "A report has gone out to the surrounding nations that you are rebuilding the wall because you and your fellow Jews are planning to revolt against Persia. Geshem confirms this report and suggests you are looking to be crowned as king. Rumor has it that you have even appointed prophets to announce in Jerusalem, 'Judah has a king,' in reference to you. Be assured, this very report will make it back to King Artaxerxes. Meet with us at once." My message back to him was simple. It said, "There is nothing to what you are saying. You are making it all up." We knew our enemy's intent was to intimidate us into stopping our work. They reasoned, "These Jews will stop rebuilding out of fear and discouragement. Progress will grind to a halt." But instead, I renewed my dedication and strengthened my hands. So much good here. Yes, big hearts for that. There's so much good in this. So basically, I really see them resorting to more bullying because they have tried all kinds of outside force. From the beginning, I think it was the beginning of chapter 2, we saw opposition begin, and it hadn't worked. Now the walls were built, nothing was going to work, and so they knew that they were going to have to crumble from within, not from the outside opposition. So they were trying to attack the head. Nehemiah was their leader, so they were trying to do everything they could to make him fail. And that's where distraction comes in. So distraction, of course, is a form of opposition. But I think it's really super, super important to address this because if we're not careful, it can be distraction can be really easily overlooked, especially today in a world of distractions, because it can also, or almost, I guess, become sort of a good thing. Distraction can almost become a good thing if we're not careful. And so specifically, I'd like to talk about the distraction of busyness, being busy, because that really, really hits home with me. So I guess I think we live in a world that's really kind of stuck or has a tendency to get stuck in this busyness trap because we're, I guess, more often comfortable going like 100 miles an hour than slowing down. And that, because we're going so fast, we can't even stop to think about other things. That actually becomes a distraction to the important things or the things that we even value in our life. What I thought of when this all first came to me, actually it's been on my heart for a really long time, as far as almost idolizing or I guess being distracted by busyness. I thought back to, well, when I used to go home, when this first came up, I guess I was in college. So when I would go home from college and people from my wonderful small hometown would ask over and over and over again, I would get asked, how are you doing? And I would almost mindlessly respond, I'm doing great, staying busy. Like as if the busyness was like the important thing. And it was almost like accepted too, like, that's great, keep staying busy, which, don't get me wrong, please do not get me wrong. Being busy and productive isn't a bad thing in itself. it's just, I mean, in fact, we're called to like go and be fruitful and be productive, essentially. But it's when it becomes the reason, I guess, like just to be busy, or, you know, too much of a good thing. I learned say it becomes a God thing, and then that's when you know it's a problem. I think it's so easy to get stuck in that too, because we're moving 100 miles an hour all the time. We have to be busy. We have to work. And that itself is good, but it's why you're doing it. And I guess what it becomes in your life. Does it become an idol? And I think that today, busyness, it's really easy for it to become an idol and become a huge distraction for the important things in life and what we value in life. And it's really not the busyness at all that's important, or the amount or speed of production, but it's the purpose of the production. Why are you working? What are you working for? And then taking the time to rest. Wow, that one's so hard for me. Rest. And let's see, I don't remember who said it, but somebody in my group of the classes that we would do in our training, she said, there's something powerful in knowing you're worth everything when you're doing nothing, or something along those lines. And it's really hit home for me, because I really struggle with that sometimes. Is, you know, did I have a productive day today? Well, no, I didn't really do much. Well, then I'm not even worth anything. And that's so wrong. That's such a huge lie, which brings me to the next lies and accusations. But I would like to read Isaiah 30:15 here. That literally like slapped me in the face when I read it, in a good way, a good little slap. It says, "This is what the sovereign Lord, the Holy One of Israel says, in repentance and rest is your salvation. In quietness and trust is your strength. But you would have none of it." My goodness, it's like I knew these beginning pieces. I knew that we need to repent, turn back to God. I know He says He calls us to rest, and that we can't work our way to salvation. I know that. I know that I'm supposed to listen for His still small voice. In order to do that, I need to be quiet. I know that. And I know that I need to trust Him, because I can't do anything apart from Him, no matter how hard I work, spin my wheels, no matter how hard I'm trying. If I'm not trusting, it's not going to do anything. That's where my strength is at. I already know that. But my goodness, when He says, "But you would have none of it," like, whoa. I don't want to be that person. I actually want that stuff. I want His salvation and His strength. You know? It was just really eye-opening to read that. So I want to tie it back to chapter 6 here a little bit, because it seems almost a little counterintuitive. I think that's the right word. Counter for sure. Because Nehemiah stays really busy. In fact, when he is asked to go and meet with the people, he says, "I'm busy. I can't stop." Hi, Brianna. Welcome. And Shayna. Hey, girl. So he actually says, "I'm busy. I can't be interrupted." So what? I thought we just said that we didn't want busyness to be a trap. Well, we didn't, but we said that, but it's super, super important to really note the difference between busyness and just being busy and actually being focused. They're completely different. Completely different. Nehemiah, he's focused, which makes him busy. He's busy being focused on the task ahead, on God and what He's put in front of him. He's focused vertically and not horizontally. I think that's huge. That's the key for him to be not distracted. 4 different times they tried to distract him with this. And he wasn't saying, "I'm too busy to come to you," but he basically was saying, "I'm too focused on God to be distracted with the horizontal things." I think that's so, so powerful. That kept him busy, but it wasn't the busyness that was keeping him from being distracted. It was the focusedness. Focusedness. That's a new word, I think. Focusedness. That was keeping him from being distracted. I think that that's really important because really, if you think about it, the busyness, if that was the focus, if the busyness was what was doing it all, then he might have been just too busy to even realize that his enemies actually wanted to kill him. He might have just gone to be busy and come back, and then the whole thing would have failed. Or he might have been too busy to renew his dedication because he's so busy working he wouldn't have any time to rest and renew his dedication and strengthen his hands. Then what would happen? And he might have been too busy to even hear from God in the first place. Then none of this would have happened. So it's not the busyness. It's what he's focused on, what he's doing there. And previously I mentioned, that it can become a lie. And I think that being busy is actually one of the biggest, little T truths is what I call them. They're lies. They're truths that we've allowed ourselves to believe, but it's not a capital T truth is what God says, but becomes a lie that we believe that, being busy is the only way that things are going to get done, which is a lie because God says he'll ask anything in his name and he'll do it for us. He's not going to give us a checklist, the perfect top 10 things that need to be checked off the list in order to get it done. He doesn't give us that. He doesn't say that. He says he'll get it done. So it's not the busyness that's going to accomplish things, and it's a lie that we believe that, busyness is necessary, is basically a necessary evil. Busyness is necessary even if you have to neglect these things. That's a lie. That's a lie. You can't ever be too busy. That's a lie. That is a lie. And then the biggest one that really hits home for me, huge, 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 is that that you find or that I guess, but this might relate to you, that you find your worth in the production or how much you've gotten done, how busy you are is where you're finding your worth. It becomes an idol, essentially a distraction, and it's a lie. It's a huge lie that that's how you're going to find your worth, because that's not at all. It's not at all the truth. We, as children of the Most High King, are not working the way that the world thinks is normal, I guess. And when our type of busyness doesn't make sense to people who don't understand it, sometimes it doesn't even make sense to me or us. But that's okay. As long as we're focused vertically, then it doesn't matter, the horizontal, right? So that's when accusation comes in. I love what Nehemiah says when he got the letter that, was basically accusing him of doing all of this work, not because God told him to, but because he had, selfish intentions of overthrowing, the kingdom and becoming king or whatever, and getting all these people behind him, whatever they were saying, they were accusing him of doing. And he basically is just like, you're making that up in your head. And that's exactly what he says. There's nothing to what you're saying. You're making it all up in your heads. That's what he says. Thanks so much, Justin. That's so kind of you. I'm just happy to be able to share this stuff that God showed me. So thanks for listening. But yeah, that's what we need to be able to do when we get accused of these things that we're so certain about, that the Lord's calling us to do. We need to be able to say, no, that's not right. That's not why I'm doing this. And be confident in that. Not prideful in it by any means, but confident. I've been told this. This is what I'm doing. And nothing you're saying is true. And keep your eyes focused vertically, because then it's not going to matter what they're accusing us of. Way, way easier said than done. This is really difficult, and I'm not even sure if it's ever completely possible to never be affected by it, but I know that it doesn't have to destroy us and completely distract us. And I think Nehemiah is a really wonderful example of that. It's just so powerful here. So earlier I posted a little question, I guess, to spur on some thought for us here. And it was, how has busyness become a distraction in your life? I think it's really important to ask ourselves that question, because we are in a world that doesn't recognize working, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week as being too much or as a bad thing. And in fact, I think that this is something that people who, I see this in myself too, where I feel so called and passionate about this mission, and I'm doing good things. I am doing good things. I'm not, staying so busy with things that are, even bad for me. Like, I'm doing things that I know I'm called to be doing. They're good tasks, but they've just become too much, almost a God thing. Gary, hi! Welcome! So I think it's important to ask that. How has busyness maybe become a distraction in your life? I want to relate it back because I'm really passionate about wellness, our health and our wellness. And so I really like to relate this back. I love things that have really strong parallels with our relationship in the physical realm and the spiritual world. And I think that our health and wellness does that super, super powerfully. And so maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm passionate about it, but I just am. And so I think one thing that can happen that we all know about is that we can get too busy to take the time to maybe move and be active, or we're just so worn out and tired that we're too busy to get healthy in the physical aspects, or maybe we're too busy to plan a meal, and so we just eat crappy food all the time. Guilty. I'm so guilty of this stuff, but I think it's really important to think about think about how busyness has become sort of a distraction for the really important things. Has it caused us to neglect our wellness? Has it caused us to, get really serious and neglect our relationships with our friends and our family? Or God, have we not rested like we're called to rest? To think about those things, and really importantly, has busyness become an idol? This one hits home. Is that how you're finding your worth? Because that is so not where we can find our worth, in how busy and how much we're getting done. I definitely fall into that trap often, and being aware is number one thing. And then another is what lies and accusations may have caused a distraction, or caused us to just beat ourselves up. One thing that I realized was when I was cutting back hours to really focus on this call, this ministry, I heard things like, when are you going to get a real job? Or, you're just not cut out for the work life, or you're lazy. I didn't hear that one often, but just because I get stuck in the busyness trap, yeah, you hear those things, and they're just lies, and it hurts sometimes, but just knowing, I think that it's important to be able to identify those lies and those accusations when they come, and more importantly, how we're going to respond. And I talked about responding to opposition, and it'll go perfectly with this, the process, in one of my last videos, and I think it was 2 times ago maybe. But yeah, how we're going to respond to that when we know it's happening, when it's there. How we're going to respond. Today, we respond with rest. Returning to God, resting, being quiet and trusting. Just like Isaiah 30:15 says. It's so good. So I'm going to sing a song for you guys. I learned this one really fast. really, really fast for you. So let me pull it up. It's naturally about being busy in our world today. But it's called Breathe. It's got a really, really powerful message, and I think that it might mean something to you. Okay. Alarm clock screaming, bare feet hit the floor. It's off to the races, everybody out the door. Feeling like I'm falling behind, it's a crazy life. 90 miles an hour, going fast as I can, trying to push a little harder, trying to get the upper hand. So much to do in so little time, it's a crazy life. Ready, set, go, it's another wild day. When the stress is on the rise in my heart, I hear you say, just breathe, just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and be, just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is to just breathe. Third cup of joe just to get me through the day. Wanna make the most of time, but I feel it slip away. Wonder if there's something more to this crazy life. I'm busy, 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 and it's no surprise to see that I only have time for me, me, me. There's gotta be something more to this crazy life. I'm hanging on tight to another wild day. When it starts to fall apart in my heart, I hear you say, just breathe, just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and be, just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is to take it in and feel your lungs, a piece of God that overcomes. Just let your weary spirit rest. Lay down what's good and find what's best. Just breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and be, just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is to just breathe. Just breathe. Isn't that so true? So true. Going 90 miles an hour as fast as I can, trying to push a little harder and get the upper hand. Like, this is so true. But and I love how the song is written to kind of build up and then just breathe at the chorus part. So pretty and so true. Nehemiah, he wasn't just busy, he was focused. He was focused on the work that God had purposed for him. He had a vertical focus on God and not horizontal on what was going around him. And as a result, his focus work did keep him busy and keep him from distraction, but it wasn't the busyness. The busyness he didn't allow that to become an idol. He didn't allow that to find his worth. It didn't become a distraction. he was able to identify, because of his focus, he was able to identify the lies and the accusations that came, and he was able to keep his focus, and he knew that their intent, the enemy's intent, was to intimidate him and hurt him and make the work stop. But instead of being distracted and defeated, like we sometimes allow ourselves to get, he renewed his dedication and regained his strength in the Lord. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I want to do that. I want to be that. I hope you do too. If you guys have any questions about any of this, let me know. Be happy to try and answer. Not sure I can, but I will certainly try. Or point you somewhere to someone who can. If you guys are interested in this at all, let me know. It's going to be so, so good, so freeing. 9-week journey through biblical wellness to lose what weighs us down so we can love God, ourselves, and others well. And we're going to do it online, so everyone's welcome. So let me know. There are limited seats because we want to keep it nice and easy to discuss, because we will do live discussions more than a Facebook Live. We'll actually get it set up to where we can actually see each other and talk. So it's going to be amazing, and I'll be able to start in just a few short weeks. So let me know if you're interested. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. Oh man, let me see. Awesome, guys. Can't wait till next week. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Gary, I messaged you a couple weeks ago. I was in Tonganoxie. I think that's where you're still at the little Opry show there. It was super fun. So hopefully next time I'm back, I'll be able to get in touch with you, because I'd love to meet up with you guys. I hope you're doing well. Cool, cool, cool. All right, guys. I'll see you later. Peace.